Welcome to the Embrace Strength podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Crocker. I am an experienced trainer and active life professional. I work with people who are struggling with nagging pain to get back to the activities they love without fear of re-injury. This podcast is here to educate and provide value to you on all things health, fitness, staying active, and personal development. Let's dive in. Hello, welcome back to the pod. Today's episode, we're going to talk through the most overlooked step in making progress, and that is assessing how you move. Now, I just want to say that I am referring to when you are working through stiffness, a nagging old injury, a mobility issue, like you're actively trying to rebuild your strength, improve range. If you do not assess how you move, you are going to have much slower progress, and you run the risk of wasting time because you don't actually know where the problem is coming from. And a lot of people tend to skip the step or not even think about it because you're not a trainer, so why would you be thinking about this? But it is absolutely crucial that you assess your body to see how you move before you go and throw these random stretches, these random mobility exercises, these random, whatever you saw on Instagram or YouTube or Google, because how do you know that's actually your problem? What I see so often is people dealing with back tightness or ankle range of motion issues or something going on at the knee, and people just tend to run to okay, what are mobility exercises for the knee? What are strengthening exercises for the knee? But what if the issue isn't really about the knee, but it's about something going on at the foot, the foot or ankle, or above at the hip? Because that's what I see a lot, is that it's not always about the area that isn't feeling great, the area that feels super tight, or the area that, feels stiff or has a range issue. Why that joint feels the way it does is because of something above or below it that's actually weak or missing range or missing some type of capacity. And then that joint in the middle, let's stick with the knee example because it's easy. That knee is taking the brunt of what's going on at the hip or at the foot or ankle. So if you didn't think about this or didn't know, and you just threw in a bunch of, knee strengthening exercises, but your actual problem was at the hip and at the foot, then you just be wasting your time essentially. And I know that people don't have a lot of time. We live in America and a lot of time, people are busy and they have a limited amount of time to work on their health, get in their workouts, things like that. And I know you want to be super efficient with things. So if you want to be efficient, you really need to not skip the step of actually assessing how you move in your whole body, even if it's just an area at a specific joint, because the actual problem might be coming from above or below, and your the joint that's bothering you, it's in pain or feeling more stiff or whatever because of a weakness elsewhere. And yeah, so that is the main point I want to get across, is that if you don't know why you are adding something into your workouts and you have a specific problem, you need to figure out why. Ask yourself, okay, why did I add this in? Do I actually know that this is relevant to the issue that I'm experiencing? And if the answer is no, I don't know why, then you should consider getting an assessment with a professional that knows how to look at an issue like this and determine what assessments are appropriate and things like that. Because even if you literally just get an assessment, that is going to give you so much value and clarity around okay, I'm not going to be wasting time if I add in XYZ, right? So I want to talk a little bit more about like what does a good movement assessment actually look like. So we want to look at flexibility and mobility at each joint across the whole body. Okay. We want to see is there any limitations anywhere? What's full, what's limited, what feels off, what feels stiff. That is going to be step one. And then we want to look at your balance, your strength side to side, so unilaterally, and seeing are there any discrepancies anywhere in terms of weaknesses in certain areas, or does one side feel a lot harder than the other when it's working, things like that. So your assessment should be extremely comprehensive if you are getting a high quality one, because when it comes to discomfort, range of motion issues, mobility issues, it's never just one thing. It's always multiple things across the body, typically, because our body works together and our body is really good at compensating when things are weak or off, because like our bodies have to move, right? And so if there is a weakness somewhere, there's going to compensate. It's really good at that. And so anyways, all that to say, like, the body is connected and it should be very thorough and across the whole body, to make sure that we're not missing anything. And again, because we don't want to waste time. We don't want to waste your time. Another reason that a good quality movement assessment is going to be super important is for tracking progress. So this can actually give us data points to refer back to in a few months when we need to recheck on progress. Hey, we've been working on range of motion of XYZ. We've been working on strength across, XYZ. Let's retest what we did in the beginning and see the progress, right? See the increase in range of motion if there's any. See the strength increase if there's any, right? So then you just have these data points to be able to refer back to, so you can know, okay, what we're doing is working. And that's also a really important part of the process, is like reassessing, and what I'm doing is working, so that if it's not working, you can make a pivot, right? And the last reason I'm going to talk about here with assessments is that you're able to program so much smarter when you have this data to look at, right? So, you might think, oh, my hip is part of let me think of a better example here. Like, oh, my wrist is part of this issue, right? But what if your wrist mobility is fine, but the shoulder is actually the issue of, you need to improve the range of motion, one side stronger than the other, something like that. We may not need to put in like any wrist stuff, but we need to put in shoulder stuff. And so again, it comes back to wasting less time, is you're able to really do what's actually necessary to get you to your goal. And you don't have to worry about wasting time on something that might not even be relevant, even if you think it might be, if that makes sense. So just overall, you're able to put in programming that is smarter, cuts down on wasted time, and actually targets the issue. So that, because if you're doing things that actually target the issue of why something is happening, you're going to make progress so much faster than if you're doing all this extra stuff that isn't even relevant to your issue. And again, I know you don't like wasting time. So anyways, that is all I got for you. I hope this was valuable for you. If you're listening to this and you found value in this, I would love it if you shared this episode with your friend, with your workout buddy, so that more people can get the value and help more people. So share it with a friend. And if you are listening to this and you're newer to the show and you are not subscribed to the podcast, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. And I will talk to you next time.